Hey guys, Crusty Old Crow here, and this is a three-parter today, guys. It was one that I wanted to do last night. I got the slideshow all set up. This is part of it, and then I fell asleep, and that's fine. It's better left for today because I decided I'm going to make it a three-parter. It was too long, but today we're going to play a little detective work on basically what we can expect and not expect to come out of Hasbro in 2024, 2025, or down the line, and some stuff that came out in a very popular video right now, with the one with Dan Hu and Emily and Lenny from Hasbro talking about the line. Viper Island did a video on it the other day. I was in the process of working out what I wanted to talk about it. So by now, if you haven't, be sure to watch the video, the interview with Dan Hu and the Hasbro team, because there's a couple of things they talk about in there that I almost take as clues. And so today's all about looking for clues. The Crow's going to get a little bit Sherlock Holmesy today. No crow hat today because I'm also painting today. Doing a lot of painting and converting today, so trying to get on schedule so I can make the videos the way I want them to be. So let's get into part one right away. Part one right here. So the Crow's being a mad scientist. He's been hard at work at it, but he's been applying a lot of logic, and some of this logic I've drawn has been from a few sources, one of them being this one as discussed. So there's the Dan Hu special. This is what you're looking for online. It's only 24 minutes and it's a good watch. And I took that almost like another Hasbro Pulse release. Just some hints were there. Not great hints, not strong hints, but I was in. I was like, yeah, I think there's some things to be read between the lines, and some of the things that Emily and Lenny said, because they purposely remained cryptic, and at some point I think their cryptology failed them. So part one, what are we talking about today? Well, before I get into the Emily and whatnot stuff, because it'll come up throughout the next three videos, this first video is strictly about going through that 82 to 85 line and seeing who we haven't hit yet as far as figures, not vehicles, figures. And there's a reason I'm calculating all this. One, it's to help us read into a little bit of what we can expect down the line and what we shouldn't expect. See if we're done a few things and see that we're not. And it helps us put a few pieces together from what the clues have been lately as to where Hasbro has taken all this, and it'll lead nicely into part two. The other reason I'm doing this is I'm looking for the reasons for me to do conversion figures. I want to find specific targets to do. I'm working on Zap right now and Short Fuse to complete my 82 line, because I know that Hasbro is tackling Flash and Grand Slam, right? And this is why I'm doing these videos, is to do that comparative of what's out there, what's coming, what's expected, and what do we know they're working on, then what's left. And in what's left, where's the travesty and why? Right, so quick shout out to Viper Island. I steal all their stuff. They beat me to that one the other day, and rightly so. But they did remind me to let you guys know about the, I think the live stream Hasbro's doing on Thursday, Feb 1st. Sorry to steal that graphic, guys, but yeah, I didn't want to type it out. So the 82 line, you find this will be fast and furious because I'm trying to keep these videos somewhat, whatchamacallit, quick. As quick as I'm able to make it. But the 82 line, if we look at what's already out, we know that Breaker is out. And we know that the Cobra, this would be the Cobra Trooper. I was trying to think of which guy this would be, and I think this is the Cobra Trooper based on his weapons loadout. And that's the one that I never knew, kind of, I assumed the Cobra Infantry was the Cobra Trooper. I lost track. There were 3 blue Cobras, not 2. Makes sense. There should have been 3. So we've got them, no worries. And then we also know that while we have the Officer Flash over here, has been the discussion of a few things. So we know that Flash's kit's already kind of been demonstrated to us in the form of Glenda and that HasLab Dragonfly release. So that's the logic being applied to the idea that Flash should be expected soon. There's a few rumors about it, but I don't think I've heard anything overly confirmed. But where goes Flash goes Grand Slam, right? Grunt's an interesting one. We have him, But with Grunt, they chose to be, and I'm sure it's just because of the plainness of his uniform, but pretty much everything in that 82 line was plain uniform. They chose to make a troop builder out of him. His own Steel Corps Legion, whatever, helmet was thrown in with the idea that you were going to troop build that. So that's fine, but why didn't they do that to Rock and Roll? And the reason I asked that is because it looks to me like they considered it. I think they did. I think when I watched an earlier review, it was like, oh, some people have bad opinions about tattoos and some don't. And I was like, that can't be the reason why Rock and Roll's hand had a non-tattooed choice. I think they fully intended to make Rock and Roll a troop builder. I think that at the last minute they changed some decisions and they stuck with a non-troop builder torso, that dry fit sweater. They put that on there instead and said, we're not doing the troop builder, but they left the hand swaps out there for the parts were made, parts were done. Yeah, I think it was, that's my theory. I think Rock and Roll was meant to be a troop builder. Anyways, Scarlet, we have had a few Scarlets on here, and the most recent news is that the Retro Scarlet, if you've got your pre-order in now, that's great. You can get them in on Amazon still. I've had mine in for probably about a month and a bit through GameStop. That'll be the Scarlet of my preference at that point, and that frees up my whatchamacallit Scarlet there, Snake Eyes Origin Scarlet. Get into the conversion pool, because while there's a 3-parter coming up, there's a 4th video. It's a bonus video where I'm going to be doing some showing guys how to disassemble some of this stuff my way. Haha. But Short Fuse, there's another guy that I started working on recently, because there is no Short Fuse. There's no talk of Short Fuse yet. And there really should be at this point. He is one of the original 82, but he's also a mortar soldier. That's section infantry support right there that we don't have, right? And that's not the only thing we're lacking in our line. Joe is criticized for having a lot of infantry, not a lot of Navy and Air Force right now. But it's strictly, really, a lot of infantry. There's not a lot of other combat arms land trades reflected outside of intelligence. So you got Snake Eyes, and we have so many Snake Eyes, and that's why you guys saw me sacrifice, or I told you I'm sacrificing my Desert Commando one, because I think I can find another one actually pretty cheap right now. There's an abundance of them at GameStops, and so they're going to go down cheaper still. I'll buy another one to replace it, but it's a great conversion torso for some of these Joes. Definitely, I'm using it for a good one. Let's just say that. Anyways, Snake Eyes, we have had more than a few, and we'll probably get more in the future, right? Stalker's interesting. I don't think we've had enough Stalker, and I think we're going to learn to expect Stalker. I think Stalker is going to show up again in a different version of himself somewhere in the 24 and 25 line, based off some stuff that Emily was saying in that interview about continuing lines. I'll get into that later as well, but yeah, they're going to, she said that they want to focus on continuing lines, but she was almost very withdrawn and cryptic about what those lines were. Zap is another one missing out of the original line from the 82. That's the one you see me working on here. It's the one that I've taken my, if you watched a while ago, I got this for a song and a handshake, basically. But I'm taking this character, this Rick Flag Suicide Squad, turning that into a Zap. But is there plans for Zap? I haven't heard of any plans for Zap, and he is one of the originals missing. Interesting, because, well, they make him a bazooka soldier, and he's an engineer, right? So he is somebody that would look great with tripwire. The Cobra, yeah, HasLab put it out, the Cobra Mickey Mouse. I'm not sure if that's actually the one that came out in 82, the Mickey Mouse variant, but this is coming out in a retro card, okay? I'm not going to talk too much about vehicles until later, and it's going to be very specific and dialed in. But here we go with the Flash and Grand Slam conundrums, right? Are they doing them? Probably. What will he come with? Will he be a lone figure, or is he going to be a part of this jump pad? Or are the guys over at Viper Island right, and that Starduster might actually come with the jump pad? Or will there be multiple jump pads in this line? Seems like a waste of plastics to repeat that one mundane feature, but it's a good feature, I guess. Hawk came out with the MMS. We know the MMS is coming, and we already have a Hawk. Will we get a Hawk variant? I have no idea, but we have a Hawk, right? So he counts towards that line. Really quick, this is the display case we used to seek after as kids. One of many options for display cases in the 80s. I had the Darth Vader head one from Star Wars that I used for some of my Joes as well. But the display case is kind of ruled out now. It's now that these figures are 6 inches, that thing would be called a wall unit. And nobody wants to buy a Hasbro wall unit, I'm sure, at the price they charge for it. So, but what has been done with this cover has been 3D Joes. Did a crowdfund, I think it was. I've seen others talk about it. And they have produced a Joe Omnibus, and it is filled to the brim with art and all the good knickknacks inside. It's a box of art and a book, I believe. I thought that was good. That completes that line feel a little bit when you use that particular cover for that. I thought that was really well done on their part. Good choice. Okay, so completing the line, we know that the Vamp is coming out with clutch. So we got good there where we get a vehicle and a driver, and the driver is a part of the original first wave. That's awesome. That counts. But we don't know if we're ever or when we're going to get a Mobat. And therefore, I don't know when we're getting a Steeler. So Steeler is one of my AWOL Joes that I've been talking about. Zap, Steeler, and Short Fuse, all AWOL Joes. Cobra is reflected well, but Joes are missing. So where did I get all this? I got this from the Toy Collector's Guide. I pulled their stuff up offline, thanks to them. And I just trim it down to suit my thing. But that's where I'm pulling these pictures from. Because you'll notice, this is the wrong picture. The Vamp, it's the Vamp Mark II, and the Vamp Mark I is the one from the 82. But whatever, it's reflecting clutch in my eyes. That's fine. Okay, so moving on, other figures. I think I'm out of sequence here between 82, 83, but we'll see. Anyways, other figures we know are coming. Airborne, Retro Card, Cobra Commander, Destro, we got tons of. There we are, 83. Yeah, my whole slideshow got screwed. Anyways, Doc, we know that there's a lot of talk about Doc. We know that he's coming to the line, but we don't know where it stands on what kind of a medic he's going to be. If he's going to be a combat field medic, a rear line medic, is he going to come with a stretcher? Is he going to be what? My son just got home. That's the pounding you're hearing in the background. We don't know. So it'll be interesting to see. I do hope he comes with that medic, and I do hope it doesn't sacrifice us to a deluxe kit for no good reason. Gung Ho, we have this one for retro. That puts the original classified one, the original first wave classified stuff, wasn't as well received. It was experimental at best. I've gotten my Gung Ho off my shelf, convinced I'd do either a Gung Ho variant with it of my choosing, or make something out of it completely different. I don't know, but we have that one. Major Blood. So there was talk, right now the way the retro cards are going for classified, Emily was saying, I think they're doing 9 a year. Okay, and this year's pretty sorted out. You're going to get guys like Another Crack at That Eel, the Snow Serpent, Beachhead's in there. We're getting Recondo, Duke, and Scarlet very soon. Blah, blah, blah. Eventually there was going to be Major Blood, but it sounds like that possibly has been pushed back on the priorities. Now, I think it's still going to come, but I don't know if that's going to be a 24 or 25 release. Snow Job, Tripwire, and Torpedo. Okay, they've been made. They're fine. They're good to go. They count, but they're only really, here in Canada, you can only really get them either through scalpers, or if we can get a Hasbro Pulse account, which I'm really trying to make that a priority, because I am going to get these figures one way or the other. But I could easily see, because of the way that these were released as deluxe sets, these joining the retro line somewhere in 25. I could, because of they weren't retail available as much here in Canada and other areas. I think there's a lot of people that probably missed out on these. I don't know, but at least I did. But I could see them being retro line just to get them out of that deluxe status. And Torpedo, With the Navy diver coming out, he's reflected and he got support. Who else? The mail away Duke is now the retro Duke, and he comes out in a later line as that Duke, and that was fine. He's reflected as I see it. What's not reflected, you heard me talk lots about, and I'm not going to dwell on accessories and whatnot, but there's potentials in there for this year. One, in that interview, Lemmy was saying that this is the year weapons, like they're really trying to address the weapons with the kit issues with classified, gummy weapons, bendy weapons, warped weapons. They've been talking to their teams about, which resin supplies they're going with and trying new things. They're hoping that's corrected midway through 24-25. To me, that's a very good reason for why they've been holding off on these accessory packs that I talk about all the time. These extra weapon backpack stands, what have you. To me, that's free money Hasbro's missing out on their own product. But you have guys like McFarlane Toys, who I showed you. McFarlane has little weapon sprues. Valorverse has weapon packs. 3D printers do weapons packs. But would that preclude people from buying Hasbro's? Maybe once they sort out these issues they're having with their weapons molds and the resins, maybe they will do these. I don't know. I could see why they would. The Snake, would that count as a deluxe figure? Really? I mean, would it count as a vehicle? I don't think so, but would it count as a deluxe figure? I think it could be. I'm just laughing because the gliders, the second pilot was the desert camo or desert, like the tan brown grunt, and then there was another Cobra Infantry. Grand Slam, I've talked more than enough about Grand Slam. Any one of these aren't coming, but what great little projects for Bads. There's a really good video of a guy who made a pack rat for Joe Classified. I don't know if he called it the pack rat or whatnot. He put it up there recently, and he did a great job. But I could see these counting as a character for deluxe sets more. Like, I know Tripwire had his drone, but it wasn't a pack rat, but I think maybe that's what the joke was, having the rat with him, pack rat. I don't know. This would be my biggest vote. Second to my bridge layer as a HasLab, just because it's pretty much hollow inside. This is a play centerpiece. It has removable canopy, removable driver's compartment, removable turret. You can cram all the Joes in there. This is a storyteller on top of many other things, and I think this would be a wonderful HasLab project. I just don't know where they would prioritize it. I only bring it up because it's there. This is really about the drivers, right? We have the His Tank driver, and we have Wild Bill from the Dragonfly, thanks to HasLab, not on regular retail. So again, if you're looking for possible retro votes for 25, that would be mine. Ace isn't out here yet. CoverGirl is. Neither of them have their vehicles, yet you can see the difference in who has the most potential to get their vehicle down the line. Steel Corps Trooper driving that is just as explicable as a Steel Corps pilot flying that later down the line. We could get an Ace figure out there. We need Air Force. We don't have a lot of reflection of air in Joe. I'm going to talk about that later. Which part is that? Is that part 3? I think that's in part 3. Yeah. So, Airtight is one that Viper Island's very much speculating on, saying that one should be in the pipe. That's their honest to God vote, and I can see the evidence that they're gathering for it when you look at the Mole Man mold. However, there's another figure that works for Mole Man. Mole Rat. Mole Man. I forgot to buy glasses. Alpine we know is on the way, and we have Barbecue, and we have Bazooka, as well as Tiger Force Bazooka. We have Buzzer, we have Crimson Guard, we have Dusty, we have the Eel, although most of us don't. What a quick glimpse and lack of availability. Huge troop builder, and I feel like that one got bought up without a plan. Flint we got. Footloose we don't. I think it's Leatherneck that's coming next, isn't it? So Footloose is still on the waiting block. AWOL. Lady J and Quick Kick. Yep, we know about them. Lady J we have, and Quick Kick's on its way. Ripper. I think everybody's happy with their Ripper. Same as Shipwreck. Commando Snake Usher, whatever. Yeah, Commando version 2. Snow Serpents, another blinked and you miss it troop builder, and that's the problem with Cobra troop builders. If you are slow to buy, you are last, because they get bought up fast. There's a lot of people willing to spend a lot of money on this stuff. Hey, Hasbro. What a nice feeling. Televipers. Well, you get them with the flight pod, right? So does that mean we can get something else with a small vehicle as well? Like perhaps the Claw could come with some variant of a pilot for Cobra. If, say, the Rattler doesn't come. Hello, Wild Weasel, I'm talking to you. We know Torch is on his way, and that's going to flow into the other missing Joe I talk about later. Tomax and Zaymont we got. We already have tripwire. We know that there's a Tiger Force tripwire due. I don't think we need any other types of tripwire. I've talked enough about them. I only bring up the Owl Striker because of certain drivers that are missing from this that I would like to see, you know, under the same idea of what they did with Copperhead and CoverGirl, right? Crankcase and Toll Booth. This bomb disposal, I think that was the nod from Tripwire, but I don't know. This one, lampreys. Lampreys would make a logical explanation for a troop build figure that you could throw in the water moccasin because you've already released 2 Copperheads. Why not? Heavy metal. That's going on my list of guys I want to do because I don't know when the Mauler's ever coming. That's another HasLab at best, or by the time, maybe a couple of years from now, maybe the retail shelves will accommodate tanks. I don't know. Be nice to get some armor right there. We've heard the rumbling. Snowcat, is it going to be retail? Is it going to be HasLab? Either way, it's going to come with Frostbite, right? Safe assumption. And isn't it nice that Joe's could get some more winter guys? Emily, those lines that we talked about in that Dan Huey interview. Hey guys, if you're enjoying this, don't forget, I always forget to leave this till like dead last, but like, share, subscribe. I'm trying to get more contests on the go. I'll set a new subscriber number for the next one, but there is that 350 contest, which is a building prize pool. All right, 85, 84. Yeah, I have my whole slideshow in a sequence. That's fine. I can still work with it. Do we have this Baroness? We absolutely do. We have it in retro card, and it came with the coil. We have, this was what I wanted to talk about with the mole rat. Mole rat. That mold could easily just be in plan for mole rat. The mole rat mold could be for airtight, or it could possibly be for blowtorch, which wouldn't be hard to do either. And with blowtorch, it would be another opportunity to exploit and play with the fire effects that are going to be coming with Dreadnought Torch. So it could be all of them. It could be airtight, mole rat, and blowtorch. I don't know. I'm just saying the possibilities there, but we don't have them yet. We have Duke and Firefly in spades. We have Mutt and Junkyard. Yes, we do. Rakondo, we have a Tiger Force, and this one's coming out in retro, the original Rakondo, the one I really wanted. But we don't have an original ripcord. We have a Night Force ripcord, and it's restricted to the Dragonfly project. So I don't really count that either as something we have. But I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot stick as a conversion guy right now, just because I think one's going to come down the pipe at least by the end of 25. In one fashion or another, because Airborne's out there. Roadblock is out, and we've got variants of him, and we know that his cousin Heavy Duty is going to be joining the line. That was just through Viper Island's conjecture, but they have some good evidence, and I could see why this would be true. I have to believe that it is in the plan, but whether it comes out in 25 or 26, I don't know. But I don't think it's planned for 24. Scrap Iron and his drone got a massive improvement in the classified line, as did Spirit. And we know that we have a couple of choices for your Storm Shadow. Hooded Cobra Commander, the mail away from that back in those days. Remember, I'm just doing 82 to 85. I don't know. Is there a classified version? I feel like I've seen enough conversions of it and 3D prints of it that I'm blurred. But I don't think they did their own Hasbro version of it. And I think everybody's talking about this armored Cobra Commander. And then enough of the vehicles and all this. I just bring up the Watchtower because in that special, Lenny talked about why they're not going to tackle a lot of play sets and dioramas and these action sets. He used the Watchtower as another one. Would you want to pay for the Watchtower to be about yay big, because we're talking about 6-inch classified series, and then you're going to pay for that for the price of what you could be picking up maybe 3 to 5 figures for, right? Or like action figures for, or perhaps an actual wheeled vehicle or something. It doesn't see the trade-off there. He's also looking at the restrictive space that collectors have now that the line is pretty much doubled or tripled in size. And so he doesn't see it as a priority. However, there is one on there I'm making a priority for myself, and it's this one. I feel like if I'm going to do a short fuse, and maybe Hasbro should feel this way too, and it's a mortar trooper, because he is, you know, a mortar trooper, which means he's just like 100 meters back of those frontline infantry or more, providing down, like raining fire upon the enemy. I could see him being a troop builder, and I could see him needing a position, like a dug-in position, for a defensive mortar position, or, you know, then you could pack up your mortar and go for the offense, right? But I see a lot of potential there. So when I do my short fuse, I think I'm going to pay attention and try and do some set for that, to reflect my own desire to do that. Okay, we got Copperhead. We don't have Cutter. We don't have Deep Six. I see them as on the table for conversion, guys, to give at least their variant. Same as Thunder. Clutch, like I said, is already out. And that's it. So who am I targeting out of all of those? Well, it's the ones I know I'm targeting right now. Where did I just set them down? I got Zap underway. And he's going to be done tonight. I should be doing a video about him tonight or tomorrow. I'm working on... That's going to be my short fuse. And I did a pivot. You guys, if you watch my other videos, I talked about the Marvel Legends and doing a guy called the Handler, like a made-up character for my RDC. Red Devil Company. And that is what my variants are going to be. Well, and I paint a variant of a Joe. It's either going to be a variant, it's definitely got to be outside of Tiger Force and Night Force, don't it? But I think some Joes might make it over to the RDC, because it's a joint task force. But that's going to be the start of my Steeler, and it's as per the sketch I did months ago. I did a bunch of sketches, and I did a couple of videos on sketches for Zap, Flash, and Steeler. And here we are. I didn't know I was going to be doing conversions that long from there. I was just trying to saying, let's design them. But now I'm executing it. So those are the guys I'm targeting right away. But in the next video, guys, I'm going to talk about having read the new G.I. Joe comic online, actually having it read and explained to me through a YouTube video. And there's more to come from Hasbro and Classified there that concerns me. So I'm going to share that with you in the next video. All right, see you then.